All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about the Yang media blackout part 2.
Yeah, again.
In fact,
Crazy.
It's actually not part 2, but part 3, 4, 5, part whatever.
Yeah, day 570 or whatever. Right?
Yeah, day 570. And the proof now basically is just overwhelming, so much so that even Andrew Yang is talking about himself. It's no longer just a Twitter hashtag that's trickling up from the Yang gang, but an actual comment made by Andrew Yang himself. And I have to tell you, the evidence for this one on behalf of NBC is so asinine, stupid, foolish, negligent, whatever word you want to put there. At best, wildly incompetent beyond what could be considered professional, to at worst, wildly corrupt, being everything Alex Jones has ever said about the media. So, Cody, just fill us in. What's going on?
Okay, I guess the best way to start it would be to one of the... Here we go, because I don't want to get too far into the weeds. Not everyone's following the same way we have. Anyway, though, they're on Twitter. There's a man named Scott Santons, friend of the show, Scott Santons. He's a big UBI advocate and a Andrew Yang supporter. Anyway, he's been chronologizing on their website for months now, different instances of various news networks, particularly MSNBC and NBC, sliding Andrew Yang. Now, I want to show you guys a video clip. This one isn't my favorite. It's not the funniest. This astonished me when I saw it. Again, shout out to Scott Santons for clipping this. A lot of people have been sharing it, but here we go.
So now it is official. In September, next round of Democratic debates, it won't be debates plural. It will be debate singular. 10 candidates met the DNC's qualifying criteria for September.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there. And once again, this is the thing that bothers me the most about what we're seeing with these, and it's just kind of like an OCD thing. Just make them. You have 10 people. Why isn't it 5 and 5? Why isn't it even? Why isn't it? As you can see here, sorry for those of you who can't notice or just listening, they list 9 of the 10 candidates for some reason. He even says 10 candidates. They list 9, and the one they don't list is Andrew Yang. So not only is it asymmetrical, you have 5 on one side, 4 on the other. You're just leaving a candidate off, and you have the guy who's reading it. He even says 10 candidates. I believe he says it right here. Let me see if I can catch that bit.
Yeah.
10 candidates met the DNC's.
The graphic says 10 candidates. The graphic says 10 candidates, dude. And we still are seeing, oh my God, I'm sorry. This drives me crazy, man. He says 10 candidates. The graphic says 10 candidates, and they show 9. I'll play through the rest of the thing. You'll be able to see that there's clearly only 9 candidates on this graphic. You can play through it. There's no one else on it. It is just... It's ridiculous, dude. And then the funny thing is, that's not even all. We have more. And I'll give it to you in 1 second. We have even more. And this is why. The reason why I wanted to show that video, that prompted Andrew Yang, the candidate himself, to start a Twitter thread chronologizing this stuff as well.
But before you even go further, let us not point out that, there's only 9 people listed on a graphic that says there's 10 candidates. Why would he have been omitted? Because he was last and we accidentally forgot to press the button in Adobe Premiere when we were editing the graphic? No, because he's pulling ahead of 5 of those people.
Yeah.
If you were, if it
or
were if
3 of them,
or at least 3 of them, if it were a professional accident, Julian Castro or Amy Klobuchar would have been omitted.
Hold on, before we get to accident, and this is, I'll go back to the Scott Santons thread. If that was the first time we've seen something like, because for example, here's another example. We've brought this one before. You could see right here that, here we go. They list 6 candidates, and Andrew Yang actually was polling at 3% on that poll instead of 1. He should have been where Beto is. That, whatever, that's editorializing. No, what I want to show you guys, and what was making me laugh a lot, was the amount of graphics they did that looked like, where's the good one? Let me see if I can find one. Where it's just asymmetrical. It isn't even. Oh, I can't find more on here. Where we see more graphics just like that, where you can look and it's like, wait, here we go. Who would be the missing man in this asymmetrical graph? It'd be Andrew Yang. Let's do another one. Let's see if we can find another one.
There's an asymmetrical one right there.
Yeah, where it was just.
One more above.
Who's missing from this one? That would make it even. Oh, sorry, guys, you can't see it. Who's missing from this one? That would make it an even symmetrical. Andrew Yang's missing, and we actually see though. Here's something I want to point out though, even more. This is from June 11th. This was a tweet replying to that. This is from Fair. And Fair is a fairness and accuracy in reporting. nonprofit, I believe. Their whole job is to watch media companies and hold them. This has been on their radar for months. And we can get back to what Andrew Yang was talking about. Here's another great example where they just leave him off where he should be. But this is the real wrinkle on this one. Anyone who's been following our show or the Andrew Yang movement for the last few months, they know Andrew Yang's getting unfair media coverage as far as the amount of coverage they give him. It's just not. It's not perspective.
This dates back to what, March or April? We did our first video on why does the media fear Andrew Yang.
Just before the debates. Before the debates where they allegedly turned his microphone off. Or if you want to get into the weeds, maybe they had the gating set different on his, so he had to speak louder than other candidates to be heard. We can get into the weeds. Bottom line was he was trying to talk and no one could hear him on the debate stage. His fault or not, that doesn't look good for the person holding the debate. But so now that we've kind of I feel like I've established this 50 times to people. No offense, I just mean like it happens so much. But while we're on the topic, I've shown you guys this in every video. I'm sorry, I got to show it again. I think the best way to sum up what the media is doing with Andrew Yang right now, for those of you who are just kind of joining this, is just watch this video clip and tell me what you think.
A lot of attention is going to be on that Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden dynamic. And then, of course, those other candidates, folks, you look again, who else is on that stage with the former vice president, with Bernie Sanders? Andrew Yang, Kristen, my screen just went out.
There we go. That is basically the easiest way to sum up what we're seeing right now with the media. And the reason I want to do this videos, because, we can say it to you guys all the time. I'm at a point now, and I'm going to Carden. It's like, what? Even if you're trying to be intentionally rude and leave him out, at this point, you got to switch it up. This is getting too obvious. Like, what are they? Is it really? They just, that Yang guy, I forgot about him. Shoot. Again. Oh, that Yang guy. That Yang. I thought it was weird our graphic only had 9 people on it, even though it says 10. You know what I mean? Like, what is the actual, what are we seeing here where they are just completely omitting him from, this is the most, I don't know how you rationalize this. 10 candidates on the debate stage, and we list 9 except for the one guy we never list. Come on.
I know that you like the example of, my screen went out. To me, that's the most benign and believable of the accidents. The fact that the whole screen could go out. The graphics, to me, are just no excuse.
Well, in concert with the fact that they keep leaving him out. If that was the only thing, I agree. But that's the easy way to sum it up, where it's like every time any graphic gets made, it's, okay, I'm making my graphic. I have all the candidates. Oh, no, deadline, no Yang. You know what I mean? It's like every time. This is kind of how it feels for us doing these videos now. I just want to give a shout out to Gif Shinobi on Twitter. He's a big friend of the show. This video just sums up perfectly what it feels like today.
With the former vice president, with Bernie Sanders.
I apologize. Now we'll listen to it.
Teach you this lesson, old man.
I love the young people.
How many times do we have to teach you
this is the scene from the TV show SpongeBob edited. But that is what it feels like sometimes, where it's like every single time NBC or MSNBC does this, the Yang Gang comes out in force. We make videos like this, and people basically just say, like, what is this crap? Why do you keep doing this? Look at this. This is positive Twitter mentions. This isn't even really that important, and they still leave Andrew Yang off. Come on, guys. And this is June 30th. We can go back to June 30th, or we can go to today when Andrew Yang himself is tweeting and saying, "What is this? Why are you leaving me off a list that I'm supposed to be on?" Not like because you could argue and say, well, look, maybe that slot was supposed to go to Andrew Yang, but the spirit of the graph was supposed to encompass media, whatever you want to say. What do you say when it says there's going to be 10 candidates on the stage and you list 9? It's not like they listed the wrong candidate as number 10. They just left the spot off. They just said, 9 candidates actually. What is this?
I'll tell you right now, look at Andrew Yang's tweet right below that graphic, and his first sentence sums up my thought process exactly. Sometimes honest mistakes happen, and then he lists an orgasm of evidence.
What?
That just shows an orgasm of evidence. You've never heard that phrase before? It means a litany of evidence that's so overwhelming you can't necessarily believe that
it was another O word.
No, it's called an orgasm of evidence. And you've never heard that before?
That was an orgy of evidence.
Or an orgy of evidence. Fine, whatever you want to call it.
Either way, gross.
Yeah, okay. Well, it means that it's so overwhelming that almost people think forensically that it's fake, that like they're trying to frame the crime because there's just such an orgy of evidence, right? So, it kind of has a dual implication that either means it's an overwhelming amount of evidence or an overwhelming amount of evidence so much that people think it's fake. If I were making a script about a candidate who could really change the world with some positive ideas, but was getting lambasted by a corrupt media, the character would look much like an intelligent, young, and effervescent Andrew Yang, and the villains would look a lot like NBC and CNN and all of their graphics manipulations and so on and so forth. You even have to go over this one where all the characters on NBC News were shown, because this right now is the capstone on the pyramid, or the orgasm of evidence. You've never heard that phrase before?
It grosses me out. I probably haven't, just don't want to talk about it. Anyway, though, so this is from NBC News, and they had little cute cartoons made for all 20 candidates. This one, we're not even going to have to speculate about the ordering. Clearly alphabetical. There's no reason that Michael Bennett would be number one otherwise. It's an alphabetical list. So let's go through this. Alphabetically, we'd expect Yang to be near the bottom, or at least last, right? So we'll go through. Got Bill de Blasio on here. Got the boy John Delaney. Shout out John Delaney. Amy Klobuchar's on the list. Tim Ryan. Cool, Tim Ryan. He made it. Oh, never mind. There just isn't Andrew Yang on this list. It ends at Marianne Williamson. People he's polling higher than. Top of my head, he's polling higher than Marianne Williamson. He's polling higher than, I believe, Beto O'Rourke now. Definitely higher than Tim Ryan. Definitely higher than Amy Klobuchar. Definitely higher than John Delaney. Definitely higher than Castro, de Blasio, Bullock, and Bennett. And Booker, yet he couldn't make the list. Now, to be fair, this has since been corrected. If you go to the live NBCnews.com website, they've now added Andrew Yang. Sorry, let me just read just so you guys can see it. As a business leader at the bottom of the list. So he has made it now. Still, again, like, if it happens once, whatever. When it happens 30 times over a 7-month span, it's like, Jesus, guys, like, what are you doing? Did Andrew Yang, steal their dog? Like, what did he do to NBC where they just will not forget and they will not forgive?
He's not a Yale-educated lawyer, son of northeastern blue bloods.
I think he literally actually is. I think he's all those things.
No, he's from Schenectady, New York, son of immigrants.
No, but I think his parents were were those parents were
no, they
middle
met
class?
at Berkeley.
Okay,
they met at Berkeley. Okay, but that's the West Coast. That's not the northeastern coast. Don't forget, everybody looked at Ronald Reagan as that crazy cowboy that came out of the West, because these northeastern Democrats still view the power center of the world as the northeastern seaboard.
That's where he grew up.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying he didn't grow up in the real New York that they respect, meaning Bill de Blasio's Manhattan. He grew up in rural upstate New York, where, heaven forbid, there's actually red districts, and Kirsten Gillibrand actually had to support guns before she decided she wanted to sell out to intersectionality in order to have national appeal. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it is wildly Republican upstate New York, bro.
No, I know. It is. It's actually, if you look at an electoral map, for anyone who has never done that,
look
at an electoral map for the state of New York.
In New York. Yeah, there's a blue dot in New York, and it represents Manhattan, and then all the rest is red.
Okay, anyway,
so
though, back to
he's not your very typical Boston or wealthy elite Rhode Island or Hamptons living New York university attending or Yale attending or Dartmouth attending normal blue blood. Okay, he's an outsider that did the private sector. Okay, he's not interning with a clerk so that he can then run for local office, so then he can be a congressman filling his dad's
He hasn't paid his dues,
spot. He's not in the club. Yeah. He hasn't risen up through media first and or risen up through the blue blood pipeline first. Therefore, they will do everything to disregard him because they do not respect, nor do they want to show how successful any other route other than their pre-programmed route is.
Well, I think it's more just gatekeeping at its finest. Who's this Yang guy? What office has he held? Who has he donated to? Who has he brown-nosed? No, but sorry, just really quickly though, just an aside. Look at this is the 2016 electoral map for New York.
Yeah, where's Schenectady?
It is pretty crazy that it's essentially just a Republican state, but New York City exists, so it doesn't matter. That is really interesting, but I do agree with you a little bit, because again, we're past the point of does the media treat him unfairly, and I would say the media. To be 100% fair, CNN.com recently ran an article responding to an Axios piece we did an article, a video on, basically saying, are we, like, it's like that classic bit from, I think the show was called Peep Show, where the two guys are dressed up in, like, German regalia, and they look at each other like, are we the bad guys? Like, there's almost like this moment where the media starting to look at each other like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are we, like, actually screwing this Yang guy over for no reason? Like,
I think a better example.
Are we really doing that? And it's what we see. I mean, I'm trying to pull the article up right now. It's a CNN article where they're like, is the media really actually being unfair to Andrew Yang? And I think they actually kind of came out and like, look, maybe we should pay more attention to this guy. Is Andrew Yang being unfairly ignored? It's the CNN article by Chris Caleza. So again, like, he's CNN editor at large, not opinion, not contributor 500. This is like a prominent member. Van Jones, we know, is very much for Andrew Yang. And we look, and here's the thing. I just want to kind of couch with this one last thing before we wrap up.
He's not gutsy enough to go out on a limb and say, "Yo, we're railroading this guy."
No,
Come on, Project Veritas show that he knew and stated that Russiagate was an absolute hoax and that we have nothing on him, but we're doing it for ratings. He's a funny guy. He's a cool guy. He's a charismatic guy, but he's a media coward. Man.
He has a boss.
Okay. Does he really? Come on, he could get picked up by any one of the major broadcasters if he wanted.
Maybe, we don't know that. You know how contracts work. He could have a non-compete clause, and they could just
which
sit
are
at home.
Unenforceable in California. He could come anywhere in Hollywood and broadcast for whoever he wanted.
Okay, maybe unenforceable. We can get into the weeds of CNN saying if you hire this guy, we're going to make your life difficult. You know what I mean? Okay. No, but dude, he's got a boss. He has a job to do. I think that's the scary thing we see with this kind of brand of media is that these people have bosses and they have jobs to do. They respond. There's somebody they have to report to. I think it's always been that way. We just notice it more now. But anyway.
I estimate there are only 100 producers in New York and Los Angeles that control the narrative of the entire media. And that's not because there's this Illuminati conspiracy theory. It's just because by nature, all these media conglomerates and all of their divisions ultimately have this pyramid of how many people report to who. And the CEOs aren't making the decisions, and neither are the people at the bottom of the pyramid. It's that middle of the pyramid, the people that actually have the six-figure incomes or the $1 million incomes, but still have to sit in the studios making the decision of who are we going to show today, what's going to be on screen B, what are we going to have in the graphic, so on and so forth. That upper middle class, that upper middle echelon of these media conglomerates are all the same, and they all have the same groupthink, and they are the ones that control the narrative. And there's only about 100 of them.
But here's the thing, though. Even those people, trust me, man, there's a number when it shows up on their phone. They go, "Oh, geez, I got to take." You know what I mean? Even those people have someone they report to.
Yeah, it should be the people.
No, it isn't. But here, and again, just to wrap it up, guys, to show you, we can talk about NBC leaving them off graphics. This is a report done by Axios, which say what you want about Axios. They do. This is just a study they've done. And this is using Real Clear Politics polling averages, which we always use. Social Sprout or Sprout Social for tweets, News Whip for article mentions in the Internet's archives, Television News Archive, what a name, for cable news mentions. And you can see right here that it's pretty obvious what they have it set up. Andrew Yang is polling at 6th. During the debates, he's one of the fourth most tweeted about candidate. He's the 14th most written about and 13th most spoken about on television.
Okay.
Speaking of math, right? Like Andrew Yang himself said, like if you can do math, you can tell yourself and say, this isn't adding up anymore.
This is the last thing I will say. And Cody, I view this as irrefutable. You can disregard it as a conspiracy theory if you want, but I view the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones reviews on Rotten Tomatoes as the irrefutable proof that what I said about there's only 100 of them that control the narrative as being true. Because if you look at that graph that we just showed of Andrew Yang, pull up the graph of Andrew Yang, and you'll notice that even though he's polling 5th or 6th,
people,
and even though he's getting tweeted, 3rd or 4th, which are the things that the people's voice has influence on, he's only getting 14th in article mentions and 13th in cable news. So even though he's highly rated by the people, he's extremely lowly rated, or rated very low by the media. Okay, guess what that kind of sounds very similar to? Rotten Tomatoes, when they actually reviewed Dave Chappelle's new...
Hold on a second. I want to do a really quick review of how Rotten Tomatoes actually works. Here, a lot of people get this wrong. The way Rotten Tomatoes actually works is they have official reviewers and audience scores. They take the review, if it's a positive review or a negative review, that's all they count for. And then they say what percentage is positive. I'm going to flip over to what you're talking about.
Okay.
This doesn't mean your average audience member gives this a 99%. It means 99% of reviews are positive, and it doesn't mean your average professional reviewer gave it a 30%. It means 30% or 3 of 10 were positive.
Well, I'm not even talking about this 30% right now, because in the first 48 hours that it came out, they only allowed 5 reviewers to review the production, and all of them gave it a negative review. It actually had a 0% amongst the professional critics class, with a 99%, which basically means 100% amongst the people's
positive
class
reviews. So
of positive reviews.
Again, just the Rotten Tomatoes lesson, 6 out of 10. It was pretty good. I kind of liked it. Counts as 100% for them.
Yeah. So you have to realize that now they got so much lashback that they allowed other reviewers to come in and put in positive reviews.
Sorry, but the point
is, if the professional class doesn't like you, that's what the professional class is going to give you. And it's not unless they get absolutely lambasted that will they then change their mind. Just like happened with us in the live stream, we don't have lawyers to fight it like Steven Crowder did. We don't have lawyers to fight it like David Pakman does. So we just had to take the copyright strike, even though literally within 2 days, Steven Crowder is going to be doing a live stream side-by-side talking debate, which is under the actual premise of fair use that is supposed to protect independent media creators like us.
Well, it did for years too. They're just not anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, at the end of the day, if you're not in their club, they're going to lambast you. And everything conservatives have been saying about the media for 10 years is completely being proven true with Andrew Yang, because he is the only Democrat that is not in their club. So they are specifically maligning him. And this is why when Donald Trump says that the media is the enemy of the people, it starts resonating so deeply amongst people in his base, and now is actually resonating with people in Andrew Yang's base. There's a reason why Donald Trump's statements that you are the fake news media get so much wind in his sails. Whether you like him or not, you cannot look at what the media has done to Dave Chappelle or look what the media has done to Andrew Yang and not start saying, holy crap, Donald Trump was right about this. So I'm not here to defend Donald Trump and say that, he's some kind of savant, but I'm here to say that unless we start recognizing as a people that the media, the fourth branch of government, is the most corrupt branch that needs to be reformed the most, then we are doomed as a society. And how do you do that? Well, you need to support independent media, such as this channel, other shows that we know you guys like and you send us links to. If there ever were a time right now to divest publicly, from the corrupt media conglomerates and invest privately in the independent channels and the independent journalists and the individuals that you trust and understand have a high level of integrity in their reporting, then now is the time. So with that said, we have been at least struck and demonetized from streaming, which was obviously a source of revenue for us. So if you don't mind contributing, please check out the PayPal link below. If you guys want to contribute to our channel, just follow the PayPal link. We're also going to be offering the hats and possibly even t-shirts coming up soon that I'm designing as part of a PSP Army initiative that's kind of cool, where you guys can get some sweet gear and then have like a membership in our channel, for lack of a better term. We'll be coming up with details with that later. But either way, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, contribute, DM us on Twitter. Let us know what you're thinking. Hang out with us in Discord. All of these links will be provided. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you in the next video.